Jupiter, Gemini, 2025. Predictions and, more importantly, strategies. Short, crisp, clear, to the point, high impact. For example, if Jupiter meets your natal Saturn as part of this transit, professional expansion, more visibility in the organizational hierarchy, more chances of promotion, more responsibilities are guaranteed. Or let's say you're a Taurus Ascendant. Jupiter enters your second house. This is the perfect time to organize your financial affairs. But we'll go into that in detail in a second. There's something you all must know contextually. Number one, I don't like transit videos. Hence why the delay, and I also haven't had time. But I'm forcing myself to do this now for those who resonate with the type of message and intent I'm setting in my style of videos. Number two, transit videos, the way we consume them online, I'm not saying they're bad, but they're generic. Still, Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu-Ketu videos are slightly better because they stay in one sign for a much longer period of time, so they have a much more pronounced impact. That impact will always be seen even if we're having general discussions. Okay? What I want to say, number one, is just because you see a watch out or something negative, either in my video or in anyone else's video, do not assume it is definitely going to fructify. Transit videos are indeed always generic because it's a dynamic equation. The transit has an interplay with your chart and your personal planetary cycles on top. It's not just your natal positions. It's how your natal planetary cycles are operating. And then the transits give a big clue into the environment. Okay? So understand that, number one. Number two, when you take something, even if you have knowledge of astrology and you're fairly confident in any given conclusion, when you take something and you say, this is set in stone, if you're intelligent, you know you've set that in stone because of how powerful your mental prism is. Accordingly, once you also say that, you've basically confirmed, admitted, and said this material limitation, this material science known as astrology, which, yes, it's a fantastic bridge. It is the most complex material science. It is the most grand material science. But you're saying this is more powerful than the intervention of divine grace, or this is more powerful than the intervention of a realized guru. Never make that mistake. Okay? So with that context, and based on everything I say, you can do further research, get a more crisp understanding. I'm only going to touch on certain points because I only have one intention in this video, and that intention is for you to have more clarity and for you to leave with a positive mental framing and an attitude of, okay, here's what I'm going to do moving forward. That here's what I am going to do moving forward. Action-orientated, momentum-orientated attitude is all I'm looking for as a goal from this video. The way we ordinarily consume transit videos is passive. The more passive you become, the more of a victim orientation there is. So if I'm watching a transit video, and we all do it, right? If I'm watching a video or if I'm reading about something, X planet in X sign has Y impact. And if you don't like that impact, there's a divorce from your desire and what the proposed outcome is. It creates dissatisfaction. When you're viewing that from a passive perspective, it's dangerous. When you're viewing that from the perspective of a scholar, I'm just learning, it remains empowering. Passive, dangerous. So you need to move out of that passive orientation, because when you put more energy in opportunity maximization, that will lead to a better result regardless of what the energy circuits are showing. But if you've split your energy where it's like, okay, 80%, this is what I feel like is going to happen, and 20%, this is what I'm going to do, you've put way more energy in that passive. I'm not saying everyone is in kind of a victim orientation. but I'm using that word so you understand what I mean when I say passive. You put most of your energy in that passive zone. So, everyone watching this, my goal is for you to have a mental framing or a mental action plan that's more geared towards the positive. And that will always be, outside of scholarly discussion, that will always be the goal in any of my videos. Okay? So, let's start. Jupiter entering Gemini in general is great for communications, developing your communication skills, developing skills in general, the upliftment of trade activity, and activity that involves transmission. That includes a broad spectrum of things. For example, medicine related to reducing the impact of widespread infection will see more success in this period. Okay? And that's because Gemini is a widespread transmission sign. When Rahu was influencing Gemini, he was very successful in spreading coronavirus, and he had the impetus and the boost needed to do so. Okay? Now, AI will see more activity. I know everyone's saying this, but it will see more activity because of the combination of Jupiter in Gemini and Rahu coming into the sign of Aquarius. This is a given. There is no way to avoid this. AI will become more prominent, as will tools that we use to communicate with each other. Okay? Now, let's come to individual charts. I don't want to spend too much time on the broad kind of macro themes. I encourage you to watch all of the positions. If you go to just your section, you won't assimilate the pattern of thinking I have in this video. Or you might, but there'll be a cap on how much you'll be able to implement it. So watch all of it. You'll take more from the video as a whole. Okay, let's come to individual charts now. Starting with planets, and then we'll go into houses. I recommend you watch all of it because you'll assimilate the information better versus just going to your specific part. You may still find it useful, but there'll be a cap on it. Understanding the way I'm framing things and the way I'm thinking will in the long run prove more useful. So, let's start with Sun. And the way I want you to look at this is if your Jupiter is making a trine connection with your natal Sun. So you will have to open your birth chart and see where your Sun is placed. So, for example, if your Sun is in Gemini, it's in the same house, which we consider a first house connection. So 159 is a trine. So if your Sun is in Gemini, we'll consider that as a tick. Jupiter is influencing Sun via a trine connection. Then what you want to do is you want to go 5 places from Gemini. So Gemini is the third sign, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you have the Sun or any other planet in Libra, then that's also a trine connection. Then you want to look at 9th from Gemini. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if you have a planet in Aquarius, right, then it is also making a trine connection. Now, I'm specifically talking about your natal planets here. Obviously we know Rahu's in Aquarius. I'm talking about your natal planets. So let's start with Sun. With the Sun, if your Jupiter is making a connection with Sun, number one, what is guaranteed, right? Again, generally speaking, for all of these, but what is guaranteed to some extent, unless you've got some groundbreaking level of affliction, which is unlikely, is you're going to be recognized more officially, because Sun is official recognition. Okay, so I'm not saying that you're going to wake up and your best friend is going to recognize you more for the type of relationship you have. If you are working, for example, there will be events where you receive recognition. Okay, so whatever your domain is, recognition is guaranteed at some point within this roughly 1 year transit. The scale of that depends on your chart. Okay, it could be company-wide email messages saying, hey, you know, you've done a great job. It could be a recognition for a project you've done in front of a big audience and a PowerPoint. You could receive an award. It could be something more grand than that. It could be something smaller than that. It could be anything. But you will receive recognition versus what you would have ordinarily if Sun wasn't activated, right? And you may have had Sun activated via some other route. I don't know. Okay. So I'm saying some context there, which will be more useful for the other planets too. That's number one. Number two, this is also a good time for your father. Your father will see a boost in general morale, recognition, health, and success. Okay, because Jupiter is influencing the prism of his planetary circuit, which is always a big positive. And with Sun, your digestion, as long as you don't overdo it, your digestion will also improve. And if you eat foods that don't make your digestion too sluggish, then in this period, that's also a good thing. All right. So Jupiter Sun is a good thing to have. And before I forget, if you have a little fun fact, if you have Sun and Mercury together, and that happens in the trine connection, then you may also have a celebration with family or friends, right? A proper celebration, a get together, whether that's a graduation or a wedding or a baby shower. It can also be a ritual. So if you're performing, for example, a homa or a yagya, a fire ritual but it has to be involving other people, that also can happen with a Jupiter-Sun connection. With Moon, Jupiter Moon, remember 159, same principle, all right? Jupiter Moon in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So if you have Moon in any of these signs in your natal chart, changes guaranteed. More exposure to watery places. So good time for your mother. It's auspicious for you also. Okay, so Moon is positive. Mercury is good for your education. It's good in general in relation to this transit because Jupiter is also in Gemini. So if you want to learn something new, if you want to develop your communication skills, you've got a double benefit here. If you're in a court case, Jupiter Mercury can also help you get out of the court case if you're dealing with some active litigation. So that is positive. You may see some skin issues. So if that happens, watch your diet and get to the root cause of why that's happening. They may, if you have existing skin conditions, they may exacerbate if that Mercury is in affliction in your natal chart. All right? And it's also good for your kids. Jupiter with natal Jupiter is a great all-rounder. It's just positive. It's just auspicious. Similar effect to Sun, but in a different way. You will get respect. People will listen to your advice. People will seek out your advice. You'll do a lot more. If you are spiritual, you're engaged in a lot more spiritual activity, and you'll meet more people who will be useful to you on your journey within that spiritual activity. Venus, if you have a daughter, it's a good period of time for her. You may make some changes in the house. A big positive in terms of redecoration. A big positive of Venus is you are almost guaranteed either A, to buy some sort of item that is considered luxury for yourself relative to your income and your societal standard or whatever, I don't know what word to use. So that luxury item could just be a nice piece of furniture that is normally outside of your budget. Of course, if we're talking about someone from different parts of this societal strata, then Jupiter transiting over Venus or being in a trine with Venus would have a different impact. But you will see that, and there is chances of you receiving some additional income, whether that be through a raise or just a one-off, a commission, a big gift or something. It's positive in terms of that. Okay, if you're trying for a child, or you end up trying for a child in this period, or close to the period where the pregnancy will take place while Jupiter is connected with Venus, you're more like, number one, it's good in terms of it being a successful birth. The chart needs to be seen, but it's a positive indicator if we're looking at broad factors. And number two, it increases the likelihood of a daughter being born. In this period, if you're looking for a vehicle, you may also purchase a vehicle. So Jupiter being with Venus is good, and also in general, it is considered auspicious. Oh, and naturally, it's a good time for the spouse. One thing I forgot to mention with Venus is different medicines are represented by different things. Venus represents a certain branch of medicine, mainstream medicine. And so in this period, you may have to spend some level of money on either medicine for yourself or your family when there is a medical incident. But it may just be something small, so it's nothing to worry about. That all depends upon your natal chart. Jupiter Saturn. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention. Along with the 159, you can also look at opposite planet, right? So 7 houses away. It's not as prominent, but you can still look at it. So Gemini 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So look at the 9th sign, Saggy. Now, with Saturn, I already spoke about that. Professional expansion is guaranteed, but, and remember, your experience is meeting the output of your action or karma. So it's positive. But Saturn is Saturn. You will face some level of hardship in domestic life and professional life. Now, I personally don't see it as a negative. I always look forward to Jupiter-Saturn connections because it always boosts your luck in the medium to long run. Because the type of hardship Jupiter-Saturn gives when together it's that special type of challenge, or it's that special type of difficulty that when you overcome leads to big growth. That's their motive, that's their goal together, right? So yes, you will have to deal with certain things that you need to work through, but ultimately the outcome is going to be extremely positive. A Jupiter-Saturn periods in my own life have been the periods where I've seen the biggest growth, huge growth, the biggest boost in luck, but also some of my biggest challenges. And those are my favorite times, because if I had a graph where I'm like, okay, my life is here, after the Jupiter-Saturn period, my life is there, and that happens every time. So don't feel any level of disdain because like, oh, Saturn's there. No, that's a good thing. If there's any planet you want connecting with Saturn in transit, it's flipping Jupiter. So be happy about it. Now, Rahu and Ketu, these are special because these are the unpredictable orbits in your chart. No matter how hard you try, they can always throw you for a loop. There's a lot of hidden rules about Rahu and Ketu that a lot of people don't know about. In fact, they move in very mysterious ways. Sometimes even the planetary cycles don't follow the traditional patterns that are expected. They flip in random directions. Now, with Rahu, one thing for sure is if Jupiter is in a trine with Rahu, you can expect a change in life pattern. What type of change and where that change will come depends on the interplay between your chart and the transit, right? So it could be a big change in family, it could be a big change in career, it could be a big change in your personality, it could be a combination of both. And just because Rahu is a malefic, it doesn't mean the outcome is going to be negative. It can be extremely positive, but it depends on your chart. So look at where your Rahu is placed. Look at what sign, look at what planets are influencing that Rahu, and you'll get a better idea and picture on the theme, all right? And then you can join that up with what we're going to talk about later in this video. Ketu is similar. Ketu's job is to give you freedom from something, is to liberate you, okay? So again, depending on the sign and the house and how Jupiter is influencing it, it's going to either detach you from something or make you move forward from something, or give you the necessary momentum to grow by completely giving up something, right? And again, it could be in any domain. It could be in your profession. Maybe you're moving from one division to another. Maybe you're moving from one base to another, i.e. location. Maybe you're moving from one style of working to another, or maybe you leave that profession completely and jump to a different line or a different industry, okay? Because it is Jupiter there, the outcome again, unless there's some ungodly amount of affliction, the outcome is more than likely going to be positive for both. Even if the process, let's say that Rahu or that Ketu are also influenced by Saturn and Mars at the same time, then yes, you'll have to deal with some hardships in that process. But because Jupiter's being there, if you keep a positive mind, you will gain experience, you will learn something fantastic, and you'll be able to convert that into a big positive that uplifts your life, right? And remember, going back to what I said at the start of the video, if you're not using astrology to level up your life, and you're only using it to worry or to become more anxious, then you're wasting your time and you're doing yourself a big disservice. Okay, let's get to the juicy part. I think this is the type of video most of you like to see with the ascendant placements. So let's do that now. So what I'm going to talk about here is, remember at the start I mentioned accumulation, gathering experience, learning lessons, application of those lessons. That's what Jupiter is all about, and that's the most important part about Jupiter's transits. When it all comes full circle, with that positive framing part, what I want you all to think about when I'm going through this is, how do you maximize the opportunity? Because what you want to do is, let's say you've got Jupiter in the second house. You want to take advantage of Jupiter's blessings in that second house. You want to accumulate everything you can from that second house. And then you want to use that to set you up for success, not only now, but when Jupiter goes to the third house for you. Let's say you're a Taurus Ascendant. When it goes to the third house in Cancer, you want to make sure you're carrying forward all those benefits and you're getting that momentum effect. That is the most important thing. So I'm going to talk about accumulation, what is going to boost that accumulation, and a few other things. What you can do if you're feeling disbalanced, and a few other bits and bobs. I'm going to look to the side every now and then because I'm referencing the chart. I'm just looking at the chart when I'm speaking. So in terms of accumulation, let's start with Taurus Ascendant because that's the example I gave at the very beginning. So we'll finish that off and then we'll go to Aries and so on. So for Taurus, this is the best time for you to meditate on opportunity areas in your finances and in your family life. Start making an action plan in developing wisdom in those spaces and go for it, right? And the boost to make sure you can do that successfully is, number one, get your routine down pat. Take my word for this, especially your work routine. Make sure not even a hair goes left or right in your work routine, but your routine in general. Get it down pat and help others without expectation. Donate regularly as well if you can. That's boost number one. Boost number two, to make sure that accumulation in your second house Gemini, happens successfully and you can push it even further, is focusing on karma yoga. So do all your work without expectation of results. All right. And in fact, if you read the Bhagavad Gita, but make sure you find a good translation, don't just read any translation, or Karma Yoga by Swami Vivekananda, or both regularly. Okay? I'm not saying you just read a page a week or a page a month. Regularly, even if it's only for 5 minutes, because what you want to do is you want to read it, let that thought fester in your subconscious and take some practical action. If you do that, you won't actually need to do anything else in this transit. All right? And look, in terms of your gain, remember, if you accumulate effectively, your ability to spend is going to increase because the 11th house is the house of gains, and the 11th from the second is the 12th, which is the house of expenditure and loss. So you'll be able to expend more because your income is more, right? So everything is logical here. And this opens up doors for better meditation too, this transit, as well as foreign travels. So make sure you get that accumulation process kicked in. Now, in this transit, if you feel disbalanced, if you feel mentally anxious, then spend time with your kids. That will give you peace if you have kids. Otherwise, if you're into reciting mantras, 2x, 5x the amount of time you dedicate to reciting mantras. Again, that will give you instant peace. Heart chakra meditation will be great for you. You can read poetry and eat food that promotes digestion. All right, eat food that promotes digestion and avoid food that will make you sluggish or create inertia. And big picture thinking. If you find time, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes, do some big picture thinking. Be a visionary. Spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes just thinking about, all right, what's my vision for this week? What's my vision for this month? What's my vision for this year? And you can just keep doing this exercise. That will also instantly bring balance in this type of transit with Jupiter in the second, all right? Because some of the challenges you'll have are related to relationships and partnerships, okay? So you will deal with having to undo some knots, but you will also see a big transformation in routine, okay? Don't fight it. So I said, get your routine down pat. While you're doing that, you're going to see changes forced on you in your routine. So that's happening on the side. It's coming from a different angle. When that happens, do not fight it. So read that. If you're reading that Karma Yoga or the Bhagavad Gita, then you'll be able to handle that with grace. If you handle that with grace, you're going to come out a champion. All right? So that's Taurus Ascendant. Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter, you're lucky enough to have in your first house. Very positive. But remember, Jupiter is a heavy planet. And so, although you will definitely be more respected, people will come to you for advice, your skills on counseling will increase, your experience will increase, you'll become more wise, you will meet higher quality people, you will also feel pressure, right? Because Jupiter is a slow-moving, heavy planet, and it's coming on your head. So keep that in mind, but it's nothing to worry about. Good time for your personal development. You may gain some weight for the same reason, because Jupiter is coming to your ascendant. But it won't be as bad as if, for example, you were a Taurus ascendant and Jupiter was coming to your first house, because that's a earth-based sign. So because Gemini is an air-based sign, if you eat well, you'll be able to avoid unnecessary weight gain. Great time to, like I said, focus on personal development. Lock in everything you can do to become wiser, and meditate. After meditating on opportunity areas in your life in general, what you need to do to take your life to the next level, build an action plan and start moving. Boost one for you is also find the opportunity areas in your children's lives. See if there's anything you can do to support your kids. Recite mantras, eat healthy, engage in creative work, all right? Anything that's creative or that will sharpen your intellect will help with that accumulation. And similar to what I said about the previous one, do not eat anything that makes your digestion sluggish, okay? Because the fifth house, which deals with digestion, is one of the houses that's boosting your transit Jupiter in the first. And you need that house to be propitiated for the first to give even better results. You with me? So boost 2 is bring rules into your life. If you don't have any principles at the moment, you don't have any specific guardrails, then in different domains of your life, work, personal, whatever, start doing that. Bring that in. Set expectations for yourself. Get really clear on moral grounds, all right, and your moral compass. And spend time with your father if possible. Spend time with your guru if possible. And this is also the best time to do rituals. If you're into rituals, go crazy with your rituals. Maybe that's not the right word. 2x the amount of time you invest in doing your rituals. And this is also a great time for fire rituals like homas or yagyas. The more you can do, the better, okay? And if you accumulate effectively in this period, everything will get a lift up in your life, 360. And you'll be set up for success when Jupiter goes into your second, like it has for the Taurus Ascendants, and you'll be able to sort out your financial affairs and better accumulate money moving forward, all right? And for this balance, for you also, heart chakra meditation will be useful. Spending time with your mother, if you have a relationship with your mother, if she's still available, spending time with her. If you like cars, or you like driving, when you're feeling disbalanced, when you're feeling anxious, go for a drive, right? And just in general, do what makes you feel comfortable or mentally secure. Especially at home. Spend time at home if you can. Those are two big things. Like, either if you like cars, go for a drive in your nice car. But if you don't and you feel comfortable at home, if you've got a good home environment, then spend time at home and do what you like doing at home, or go wherever you feel the most secure and safe, the most nurtured. All right. And you may have to deal with some obstinate people in this transit, like some stubborn people, and you will come across many of your own shortcomings. Don't worry, don't panic. It's going to lead to positive transformation. What you need to do is handle it with patience and grace. All right, good luck. Now, if you're an Aries Ascendant, it's a win-win for you, because third house and third sign. So great time to develop your skills. Whatever you are doing in terms of your skills, develop them, and whatever skills you want to develop, start looking into that area. So meditate on your opportunity areas, specifically around skills. And if you want to improve relationships with your siblings, another perfect time. If you want to go for short trips and short travels and be more active, another great time. All right. So you want to accumulate in these spaces, Aries Ascendant. All right. And for a boost, I'm going to say meditate on what you can do to have a better relationship with your spouse and your business partners. Okay. And that's going to go hand in hand in boosting your skills, because these are indirectly related. Same as I mentioned for the other ascendants. So I'm not going to keep explaining the boost principle. All right. And if you have your own business, it would be wise to develop skills related to that business, because there's an overlap here. You'll get a double benefit with that, right? So if you're, and remember, a lot of things can easily overlap. So if you develop, for example, communication skills related directly to your business, for example, a specific type of, if there's a specific type of presentation you make when you do a sales pitch, for example, start refining that, how you're communicating when you're delivering that presentation. Maybe you do presentation classes, speaking on stage classes, whatever. It could be anything. It could be body language. It could be tonality coaching. It could be absolutely anything. Figure it out, what you need the most, link it to your business. And also your network circle, Aries Ascendant. Look for opportunity areas in your network circle. You may naturally actually see people leave and some people enter in your network circle. Look for opportunity areas you can find to improve in that space, okay? And mend relationships if there are any major issues in your network circle. This is also a good time for your physical health. And if you feel mental anxiety, Aries Ascendant, for you, get stuck in organization, okay? Organize your environment, your vastu, your house, your tasks. Get stuck into organizational skills. How can you make your business more efficient? How can you make your daily routine more efficient? All of that sort of stuff. All right. Donate, and also work on your health and your diet. If you feel anxious in this period, if you do these things, you'll immediately come to a feeling of more balance. You'll feel more peaceful. All right. And you will have to deal with some transformation at work that is coming. And if you're spiritual, also your methodology and your approach to spirituality, and maybe the people you deal with in your spiritual circle. And there may also be some obstacles in that space. But again, they will lead to your positive growth, positive transformation. So good luck, Aries Ascendant. I hope that helps. Cancer Ascendant, you may travel in this period, foreign travel. And this period is a great time to set yourself up for success in personal development. You may also spend more, but because Jupiter's there, the spending may be for things that support you or are positive or that you need to execute on for certain cleansing with karmic knots. So nothing to worry about. Now, this is a fantastic time if you're spiritual to meditate, particularly in isolation alone. I'm not talking about group meditation. In isolation also works if you're going to a Ment temple, for example, or any other institution and you're sitting alone, even if there are other people there, reflecting, meditating, whatever, okay? And we use the word meditation, or I use the word meditation, but it really is a broad spectrum. Equally powerful and equally valid is reflection and isolation, even if it's just you sitting alone in a room and just reflecting, okay? Or you sitting alone in a room and literally doing nothing, just being silent. Just looking into space, silence, or looking at a dot, which is called tratak in Sanskrit, and focusing on that dot. But no other stimuli, no other external stimuli. Like, it's better if you're in an empty room with nothing to distract you. Just sit there. This works for anyone, but for you at this time, the amount of positive intuition, ideas, support that you will get just from sitting in silence or meditating or reflecting, off the charts. Do it. And to boost your accumulation right now, Cancer Ascendant, a couple of things, right? Look for things you can do to improve at home. If your mother's still around, spend time with her. Make her happy, please her. Improve your relationship with her if it needs mending. If you've got a vehicle, clean your vehicle. Make sure it's in good condition. If there's any repairs needing and you can afford it, then get those repairs done. And do heart chakra meditation if you can also, okay? And if you don't want to do heart chakra meditation, for anyone that I've mentioned, just make sure you've forgiven everyone. You're not holding any pain in your heart, okay? And most people can't just do that by thinking of it or by having a conversation in their mind. So they need some type of guided meditation. So just go ahead and do it. And what else will really be useful for you in this time is, ironically, learning astrology. So if you're already, if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in astrology anyway, invest more time into it. Learn astrology, and anything to do with the occult or mystery will do you well in this time. Activate the 8th house, activate Ketu. That will help you with supplementing the energy right now with where Jupiter is transiting in your chart, all right? And if you feel anxiety in this period, spend time working on your skills, all right? So it's different. Like, what I'm saying is different. The circuits are different. Like, for Aries Ascendant, I said work on your skills, period. For you, I'm saying, if you feel disbalanced and anxious, then disproportionately spend time working on your skills. When you're working on your skills, your anxiety will go. Or spend time with your siblings, all right? Or go for a short travel as well. That will work for you too. Like, you're feeling anxious and you're Cancer Ascendant anyway, so there's a emotive element to you. You're feeling anxious, just go for a quick walk. Go for a half an hour walk. Go for a 20-minute drive. That'll work for you too. Go see a friend. If you have children, Cancer Ascendant, you will see a little bit of friction for them, or you'll need to support them a little bit more than usual. And you may also have some issues with your partner in terms of feeling that connection. Don't worry, just be conscious and present. That's all that's needed. Don't get irritated. Conscious, present, patient, optimistic, everything will go smoothly. And you may also have some digestion issues. So again, eat foods that promote digestion and don't go for too many ultra processed foods. All right, and look after your health in this period too. It is easy in this type of transit to eat the wrong things. Okay, but overall, for all the ascendants is good. So good luck, Cancer Ascendant. Leo Ascendant. Oh boy, it's a good time for you. Network circle, positive changes. Gains, positive. If you were looking to make a successful move on investments or on a project or on the execution on one of your desires that you've been working for a long time, you're due to see positive expansion in that space. Even if you don't acquire it, you're going to see progress. We all want to see progress. I'd rather see progress, regular progress, rather than no progress at all and then just suddenly receive something a month later or a year later. So this is a great time for you to maximize on moving towards your goals. Goal orientation is what I want you to focus on, Leo Ascendant. And in order to boost that accumulation and making progress towards your goals, similar to Aries, I want you to boost your skills, mend relationships with siblings, spend time with siblings if, again, it makes sense, and spend time doing positive short travel, right? The type of short journeys that make sense for you in your life, right? And also for you, Leo Ascendant, spend time with your wife, make your wife happy, make sure there's no friction with yourself and your wife. If any friction develops, resolve it quickly. Same with your business partner. Be on good terms with your business partner if you have one, or any partnerships at work. Anyone you deem as an ally. Hey, you and me, we're allies, we're partners. That type of vibe. Make sure you're in a good position. And if you have a business, 2x the amount of time you spend in your business. All right. And when I say 2x, it doesn't mean I've 2x'd my business at the expense of everything else. I'm saying 2x the amount of time you spend on your business and your spouse and on your skills, and with your siblings if you get any time, right? Maybe not 2x with your siblings, but all these things in a relative bubble to the side, you're 2xing the amount of investment you have in that space in order to maximize the benefits of this transit, which is moving towards your goal and that goal orientation. In ways you're unaware of, things will tie together. You're propitiating houses that are linked, and they will boost the main house where Jupiter is. All right. And if you feel disbalanced in this transit, if you feel mental anxiety with the Jupiter activity, with the Jupiter energy circuit, Leo Ascendant, then spend time with family, any family members. I've already mentioned some, right? And do a financial review. Okay, do a self-financial audit. And you can also go for a spa treatment that deals with your face, or you can develop a skin routine for your face and your neck. That would also give you a bit of peace and quiet. It will help you feel a little bit more calm if you go through any anxiety. All right, so good luck, Leo Ascendant. So anyway, I'm hoping you guys are catching on with some of the clues I'm dropping there. And I've purposely gone a bit longer for this video. But anyway, let's move forward. Who's next after Leo? Virgo Ascendant. Virgo Ascendant. So Jupiter's going into your 10th house, right? Yeah. So perfect time for raising your status at work. Getting wisdom on the direction you need to go in at work. The type of work you need to do. And the strategy needed at work. This is not only a time to work hard, but it's a time to identify how do I work smart and not hard. Remember, Guru brings wisdom into the domain of work in your 10th house. Yes, it will bring more responsibilities and more work inevitably, but Guru is a soft benefic and it does not like hard toil. The Guru is strategic. The Guru is a visionary. The Guru is a big picture thinker. So adopt all of this at work. If you're someone at work who's in tail chasing mode, if you're someone at work who just works hard, puts their head down, this is the time for you to start implementing a big picture thinking routine, start being more strategic, start being a visionary, start taking your own advice and giving other people advice. This is the time to bring wisdom into your workplace. That's the key word for you. Wisdom in your workplace. All right. And if you maximize accumulation in this transit, then it's going to set you up brilliantly next year when Jupiter goes into your 11th house of gains. All right. Remember, 10th house, I'm saying career as a catch-all, but 10th house is the domain of work. It's a domain of action. So Jupiter wants you to bring wisdom in all of your actions. So I mentioned, I think, Karma Yoga and Bhagavad Gita to Taurus Ascendant perhaps. Same thing applies to you. Read Bhagavad Gita and or Karma Yoga by Swami Vivekananda every day, regularly, even if it's only for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but it has to be regularly, otherwise it won't sow seeds in your subconscious and you won't implement anything. All right? So do that. You will see good results. And to boost those results, do a financial audit. Spend time getting your financial issues in order. Spend more time with your family. And when I say spend more time with your family, because I've explained certain things already, I'm hoping you can join the dots and I don't have to give a thesis and a dissertation every time. When I say spend more time with your family, it's not like isolated, you go and sit there with your family. That's stupid. Think about opportunity areas with your family, right? Like, what can you do to bring more happiness, more peace, more tranquility into that environment? That's what I mean, right? If everything's perfect, then yeah, you can just go and sit down and enjoy with them, right? If that works, you can do it. But otherwise, do that laterally with actually making some positive changes in that space. But for that, you need to meditate on opportunity areas. That's why I keep mentioning opportunity areas. That's another key word, all right? So that's boost one for you. And then also, yeah. Also for you, get your routine in order. But more importantly, for you, Virgo Ascendant, it's following a routine. It's not just getting your routine in order, it's following a routine to the T and religiously. And you can keep it super simple, but make sure you follow a fixed routine. So try and awake at a similar time, go to sleep at a similar time, have a fixed cadence with your diet, right? Understand that having a specific time where you meditate, having a specific time where you conduct your spiritual research, a specific time where you're allotting to flow at work, and all these things. The more you do that, the better. But don't drive yourself crazy because a routine will always break. So you need flexibility and wiggle room. But the reason I'm saying it in more of a military way is you need, if I don't say that, you're not going to put that routine in place. So take that seriously. Take that real seriously. And also your health. Watch your health. It's not actually watching your health for you. It's if you improve your health, it's going to help you to maximize your effectiveness at work. And I really mean that. Like, you can 2x your effectiveness at work if you exercise, have the right diet in place, and avoid sickness. All right? Because there are some points in this transit where you may become sick or have to deal with certain situations. Keep your health in mind. All right? And you may lose or change something in your network circle and friendship circle at this period, but it'll be for the better. All right? There may be some unexpected expenditure also. And no, actually park that specific part. Virgo Ascendant. You may see some problems with siblings, okay? And you'll be lazy in terms of personal development. So don't do that. And if you have some like small journeys planned, you may see some obstacles. You may see more cancellations, like, hey, you're going to attend this party or you're going to go see a friend on this day. You may see more cancellations than normal. Don't worry, it's just part of the process. Plenty of them will land. And if you have kids, you may have a little bit more friction with them than usual. All right. And similar to what I mentioned to one of the other ascendants, connection with your spouse may be a bit up and down, as will your digestion. So eat healthy. All right. Other than that, good luck. Another good transit. Jupiter's not comfortable in. Jupiter doesn't want to be in the 10th. But when it's there, it can give you big benefits in your career and in other parts of your life, like I've mentioned. So just take advantage of it, all right? And actually, with Jupiter in the 10th, if you're into astrology and you want to make a shift into getting more knowledge, by you 2xing at work and doing what I said, this is going to help with your astrology stuff. All right. Libra Ascendant. Let's come to you. This is a good time. If you're spiritually initiated, or if you have a mentor, great time to learn more from them, to take your relationship to a better place, to have a more intimate relationship with them. And same with your father. This is a good time. If you have a good relationship with your father, it's a good time to connect with him more. And if you don't have a good relationship with him, it's a good time to mend that relationship. Okay? It's also a great time to develop principles. You will, by the end of the transit, feel like your moral compass is more sharp. And it's a great time for higher learning. Great time for higher learning. And it may also be positive for long distance travels if your chart supports. Okay? So for you, a big theme is learning, spirituality, principles, and travel if applicable in your chart. And based on that, think about those areas. Based on that, think about what's most important to you and where you want to make forward movement, and get your affairs in order in that space. And you will make progress. All right? And for you, the areas to boost this transit, to help you accumulate in those spaces that I've mentioned, are do as much personal development exercise as possible. All right, spend a lot of time thinking about what can I do to take myself to the next level. How can I upgrade myself in any way possible? It doesn't have to be related to skills. It can be an upgrade in any way. It could be you improving your closet. It could be you improving your house. It could be you improving your grooming routine. It could literally be anything, but it's self-development for you specifically. All right, Libra Ascendant. And for my Libras who are watching, the other thing you can do is, if you're someone who recites mantras, 2x the time of the amount of time you invest into mantras. Eat foods that promote digestion. Spend more time with your kids. Engage in more creative activities. And you can also do heart chakra meditation, because although it's not directly related to this transit, heart chakra meditation and also even throat chakra will improve your creativity. In fact, you can do you can do a guided, anyone can do this, but you can do a guided meditation for all 7 chakras. And also for you, big picture thinking, vision, big vision. Think about how you can just meditate on, okay, what is the big picture for me? What am I trying to achieve in the long run? Not only what am I trying to achieve in a month, but what am I trying to achieve in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And with big picture thinking, it's important to not think about, it's like blue sky thinking as well at the same time. Don't put a brick wall in front of yourself. Think about what is possible if anything was possible. All right? And the realistic element should, of course, still be there, but you're giving your permission to think wide. You're giving yourself permission to think vast. All right? Scorpio Ascendant, all my Scorpios watching this, this is a great time to dig deep. This is a great time to do a 360 transformation of your personality. This is the time to do that activity where it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is that time where you can look back a year later and you can do the whole before and after thing. Like, this was me before, pre-Jupiter in Gemini. This is me post-Jupiter in Gemini. I'm a different, you can't even recognize me anymore. You know, change your name. Like, this, that vibe. So Scorpio Ascendant, it's a time for transformation across all areas of your life. Positive transformation, because remember, it's Jupiter. This is going to be great for you. And there's also a great time for you to spend, if you're into these, you're watching this video, so you must be. It's a great time to study astrology if you're into astrology and anything related to the occult or mystery or 8th house activity in general. All right. And in order to boost the positives of this particular transit, meditate in isolation. If you're planning a long distance trip, that is also good for you. And when I say meditation, it's also reflection in isolation, and it's also just sitting alone, doing nothing, just staring at the wall or staring at a dot and just being. If you can do that for 30 minutes, I promise you, after those 30 minutes, 60 minutes is actually better, but 30 is a bare minimum. It's very, you might think, oh, what's the big deal in that? Doing nothing. But it's very difficult. You gotta push to do that. I think most people these days can't actually do that, even if you paid them. To just sit there and not look at anything, not do anything, not be distracted by anything. So do that, and I promise you, every time you do that, you're gonna take a golden nugget of something that will improve your life. Guarantee, Scorpio. Guarantee. And another thing that will boost this transit is work on your emotions, right? And especially because you're a Scorpio Ascendant. If there's anyone that you're holding anything against, forgive them. Okay, I know you might not want to, but forgive them and just let it go. Again, if you need to take the help of a guided meditation or a guru or something, do it. But set a mental intention for a forgiveness routine, and also just cleansing in general of your heart space and your heart chakra. So do heart chakra meditation if you like that. If you don't like that, you can take a different approach. The goal is the same. You just want to be emotionally cleansed and emotionally light, The more emotionally cleansed and light you are, the more you'll be able to take advantage of this transit. All right? And if you feel anxious in this transit because of the Jupiter energy circuit, spend time with friends or go do something fun. All right? You're going to feel more at peace. And when I say friends for you, this also includes people you consider that you can trust in your network. So it's not just your friends' friends. It's also like your guru, your mentor, your business partner, but people you have a good relationship with that you can trust. Okay? And Scorpio, you will deal with some problems with your siblings if you have siblings. There may be some changes in their life which involve some challenges. And as part of this, there will be either some health issues or some transformation that is slightly uncomfortable. But with Jupiter being in the 8th, the road will be made a lot smoother, a lot easier. And like I said, the visualization is like you're going in as iron and you're coming out as gold. You're coming out with gold armor. All right, so good luck, Scorpio Ascendant. Sagittarius Ascendant. This is your time to improve, shine, reflect, take to the next level your relationship with your spouse. If you don't have a partner, this will support in finding a partner. With that, of course, the energy circuitry gets a lot more complex. But if other factors are supporting, with Jupiter entering where it is for you in Gemini, it's a positive Sagittarius Ascendant. And it's also positive for your business relationships and your business in general, okay? And even work, right? Even though traditionally the 7th house is not considered the domain of work, it ties up with your daily work, even if you don't have a business to a great extent. All right, so Sagittarius Ascendant, you will see a positive uplift in these spaces, and it's the perfect time to accumulate experience in these spaces. So for everyone, the areas that I've said you want to accumulate, you're going to see positives there, by the way. But I'm focusing on opportunities and maximization. So these are the areas where Saggy, you wanna make sure you use the Jupiter energy positively, so that you can make permanent the benefits from it. All right. So what you want to do is meditate on how you can bring wisdom in these spaces, how you can take it to the next level, and for you also to boost Libra, Saggy, spend time with your network circle, like I said in the previous ascendant. So specifically people like your mentor, your business partners, your friends, your family, work colleagues that you really trust, things of that nature. All right. And also spend time with your siblings and spend time developing your skills. Spend time developing any skill that is going to help you have a more enjoyable, peaceful, prosperous relationship with your spouse and with your business partner, and in relation to your work and business in general. Any skills that support those, bang. You want to invest time in those. You want to make an action plan on those. You want to reflect on the opportunity areas with that and just get that positive momentum. All right. And for you specifically, if you feel anxious or mentally imbalanced in this transit, then this might sound a bit unintuitive, but work. So if you feel anxious, work more. Engross yourself in work. Find a routine where you can, that helps you get into flow state with your work. and you'll feel that peace because your soul is kind of going in that direction anyway. And for you also, what I said earlier about Bhagavad Gita, reading that regularly, or Karma Yoga by Swami Vivekananda, very useful. Very useful because it will help you feel at ease. It's not like the others I mentioned where it's about boosting the results, but if you read these books, it's going to help you feel calm, at ease, in control, and balanced. All right? And you can expect some challenges at home, Libra, like with your family. You may also have some problems with your teeth. So just keep that in mind. But like I said with everyone else, all you need to implement is patience, grace, optimism, and you'll be fine. You'll fly through it. So now, who's the next ascendant? I think I accidentally said Libra Ascendant there while I was talking about Sagittarius. So we've already covered Libra. So if I did, you already know that whole section I just spoke about was Sagittarius Ascendant. So let's go to Capricorn Ascendant now. And for Capricorn Ascendant, your Jupiter is going to the 6th house of routine, hard work, your job, debt, enemies, disease. So it's going to help you in all these areas, right? If you've got a debt, it's going to help you to find the wisdom to overcome that. If you've got enemies, it's going to help you find the wisdom to deal with your enemies without getting mud or blood on yourself. So whether it's an intellectual enemy, like at work, or whether it's a physical enemy that actually poses harm, Jupiter's going to want to help you find a way to overcome that. Or whether it's an internal enemy, or an enemy within yourself, like lust or greed or an addiction, Jupiter's going to be really useful with that. And if you're lazy, Jupiter's also going to encourage you to, again, find out how to optimize the way you're living your life, like the bare minimum, the basics, okay? And it's also a good time for donation, by the way. Great time. It's always a good time for donation, so I don't even like saying this. It's a good time for all ascendants to donate, because whatever you donate, you get back 100x, right? Just donate with no expectations. It'll boost your everything related to your life. But anyway, so for my Capricorn ascendants, what you want to do is accumulate whatever the problem is in this area of the 6th house, related to whether it's debt or to disease or to enemies or your routine or your workplace or you not working hard enough. You want to accumulate. It's 3 steps. Find out the opportunity area. Whatever that, after you meditated on the opportunity area, put the action plan in place and then accumulate experience in that space. Move in that direction. Accumulate. And the goal is to basically take advantage of that Jupiter energy and make as much of it permanent. Gather. And okay, I've made this permanent now. I'm taking this with me. Or you missed the opportunity. There's only 1 or 2 things. Now, to boost this transit for you, Capricorn ascendants, again, similar thing. Spend time with family, improve family relationships, and do a financial audit. Definitely. No, sorry. No, actually, yes, that's fine. So spend time with family, improve family relations, do a financial audit, get your finances completely in order, know how you're spending your money, where you're spending your money, what you want to invest in, and big picture thinking at work. Bring wisdom into work. Match working hard with working smart. Bring a layer of strategic thinking into your workplace. And just take end to end your work, your career, your business, whatever your area of action. It doesn't even matter if you're a housewife or if you're a stay-at-home dad. Think about what you do from the start of the day to the end of the day, and think about, how can I make this better? Where do I need to bring wisdom here, right? And that, again, is going to boost everything related to the 6th, okay? and it's going to boost it. Again, you've got Jupiter blessings in this circuit, so it's going to boost it in a big way. And if you want peace, talk to your guru or your mentor. If you feel disbalanced in this transit, talk to your guru, talk to your mentor, talk to your father, visit temples or religious institutions if you're into that, and make sure you always follow your principles. Never deviate from your principles. That will pay you back tenfold. You will see a lot of personal transformation in this period also. And you may also see changes in your network circle. You may lose some people from your network circle and some new people may enter. But as I've said for the rest of the ascendants, just be patient, graceful, optimistic, and everything will work out positively. So good luck, Capricorn Ascendant. Aquarius Ascendant. Remember, Jupiter's in your 5th house, so you might actually gain some weight because Jupiter's all about expansion. So Jupiter being in your stomach, you may, but it's an air-based sign, so you might get away with it, but the chances are there. So just watch your diet a little bit if you don't want to gain weight. If you don't mind gaining weight, then it's not a problem. And it's a great time. Like, this is just a great time. It's great for spiritual activity, reciting mantras, streamlining your diet, getting your gut microbiome completely in order, which has a knock-on effect on absolutely everything. If you have kids, a great time for their prosperity. If you're looking for kids, this will support in conception, right? Again, but that depends on many factors, but it supports. Okay, and it's a great time for building harmony. If you're in a relationship, building harmony with your partner, right? Infusing some love into your relationship, mixing things up, and also it's a great time to sharpen your intellect. A great time for learning, all right, and for you to and also improve your relationship with your kids. Like I said, the prosperity piece, but if you want to improve your relationship with them, get closer to them, have a more intimate relationship with them, it's a good time to make inroads in that direction. So from everything I've said, choose what's the most important to you. Meditate on where you want to make positive changes using the energy of Jupiter, where you want to gain momentum, and then based on that, to boost the results of that, engage in higher learning specifically, right? This will help boost the results of this. So you're gonna sharpen your intellect, but if you specifically also choose to engage in higher learning, right, whether you're an academic and you choose to go for a master's or a PhD, or whether that means you just love philosophy and you start learning about non-dualistic philosophy, for example, or you start reading about the art of Tao or Advaita Vedanta or whatever, higher learning, have good principles and don't deviate from them in this period. Keep sweet relations with your father, support your father. This will all help. And also exercise, focus on your body and general personal development in any area, right? It doesn't have to be related to learning, like I mentioned earlier. It could be you changing your closet or putting a grooming routine in place or whatever. Any type of self-help activity and also exercise, right? Getting your physical body in shape is gonna really help. Okay, so good luck, Aquarius Ascendant. You will see some issues cropping up in family life, at home specifically. So if you're not wherever you consider home, let's say that, you will see some issues cropping up that you will need to attend to, but you will be able to. And there may be a sudden health issue or financial obligation you need to attend to. Okay, so please, like I said, exercise, watch your diet, and just make sure you're on top of everything in terms of your daily affairs, and maybe keep a small kitty of liquid income in case you need to attend to a certain expense. All right. Finally, Pisces Ascendant. Okay, Pisces Ascendant. This is a good time for you because Jupiter's in its natural house or space of exaltation, despite it being in Gemini, right? So it's in your 4th house. You're going to feel like you naturally want to do more things that make you feel anchored, at ease, happy, peaceful. Okay, so heart chakra meditation by default at this point is good for you. Forgiveness routines, make sure you don't hold any grudges, really good for you because it's just going to make you feel even better. It's going to put you on cloud 9. It's going to take you from cloud 9 to cloud 11, right? This is a time for you to kind of open up, accept people, connect with people better, just feel more good about life, go with the flow. And it's also a good time for your mother, okay? If she's going through difficulties, she'll see some positive results. She sees some roads opening up. And if you're looking to buy a car, you will successfully be able to purchase. And if you're not, you may still purchase or make some renovations at home. And this is also a great time to develop your emotional intelligence. So if you're a professional, EQ is super important and an underrated skill. You know, people talk about intelligence and IQ, but understanding how to leverage emotional intelligence in your communication is super, super, super powerful. So if you do some sort of work on EQ or some sort of EQ course, that'll also be really good for you at this time. And the Jupiter is also naturally supporting it. So again, think about everything I mentioned and think about what areas you'd like to improve, bring wisdom into, and make permanent. Accumulate, 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 because Jupiter accumulates through experience, and you want to make that benefit positive for you for the rest of your life, right? So keeping that in mind, for you to boost these results, for you to get even more from the Jupiter in 4th house, 8th house activity is really good for you. So studying astrology, anything to do with the occult, hidden things, fantastic. Personal transformation, like embracing personal transformation, will be really good for you. Like if you've been putting off, you're not going to be forced into personal transformation, but assuming the rest of your, planetary cycles are fine. But if you willingly, proactively embrace personal transformation that you know you need to do, Pisces Ascendant, then you're going to be flying. Like that's going to really, really help you accelerate the positives of this transit. And also, meditating alone, reflecting alone, big picture thinking alone, really good. And I hope you've watched the rest of the video, but if you haven't, I'll just go ahead and say this one more time. Even just sitting alone, like sitting in silence for 30 to 60 minutes, doing nothing, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible to do. Force yourself to do it. Even if you do it once a week, you are gonna find unimaginable treasures. That I can promise you. Like if you just literally just sit in a relatively empty room where you're not distracted, you're not looking at your phone, you're not doing stupid things, no external stimuli, you're just like looking at the wall or looking at a dot, you're not listening to anything, you're just sitting there. Instant power. Now, and insights, okay? And it'll be really good because sign-wise it's not. Sign-wise it's airy trine, but house-wise it's a watery trine because Jupiter's in the 4th, which is a natural sign of Cancer. So that will really, really, really support. There may be some issues with the father, okay? So check up, keep tabs on him if he needs any help, he needs any support, he needs any time to spend with you, to have a chat, to help him feel a bit lighter, okay, if he's still in your life. Same thing applies to the guru. Check in with your guru if there's anything you can do, or your mentor if there's anything you can do to support them throughout this transit. And There may be a time in this transit where your principles are questioned. Do not deviate from your principles. There may be a time when you're tempted to do something that violates your own moral compass. Don't fall for it. And there will be changes for you also, Pisces Ascendant, in your network circle, but it'll be for the better, right? Someone may leave and someone may enter, okay? And you'll meet some high quality people also. Okay, so those are all the ascendants. Remember, the goal here is positive framing, clarity, intent, opportunity maximization. We're using the positive energy of Jupiter, gathering experience, learning, which is what Jupiter wants to do. And as Jupiter learns, it accumulates that experience. But we're doing a few things here. We're accumulating that experience. We're boosting the accumulation through supporting activity. After boosting that accumulation, we're spending and focusing energy there so we can make it permanent. For example, Taurus Ascendant, Jupiter goes into the second house, right? So the person doesn't need to do it, by the way. They're naturally, I've said, get your financial affairs in order. They're naturally going to do some positive activity related to the finances. But I'm saying, do the whole thing, like get the whole thing in order. Don't just fix one bank account. Don't just make one positive investment. Get all of it in order. And more of the positives will then therefore become permanent in your life. And you get a momentum effect where you're building positivity at a faster rate, compounding interest on positivity. All right. So hope that was useful. If it was, please, I mean, I don't get anything from making these videos, so I need to know if it's worth my time investment to continue with this. So please like and share with your friends and family, and let me know in the comments if your previous transit, so if you're a Taurus Ascendant and let's say your Jupiter is going to be in the second house, your previous transit, what I said about Aries, so 1 year back, if you would have followed what I've said, do you think it would have made a difference? I'm curious to know. And let me know what transit you're going through as well. All right, I'll see you all next time.